All right, hi guys. So now I'm gonna do a presentation on how to take a good photo for your self-portrait. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. And I have a little PowerPoint presentation. Alrighty, so here's the first slide. So how to take a good photo for your self-portrait. So this is for the charcoal portrait project that we've been leading up to with our charcoal forms and our eyes and our nose and our mouth, and now we need to put it all together. Well, first we need to take a good photo. Since you're not in the classroom, you have to take the photo of yourself, and so we need to talk about the lighting because that's a big deal. So you need to have good lighting. You can use the sun, go outside. You can use light from another room in your house, or if you have a lamp. Those are all good options to use. Maybe try all three to see what you like best. In this little presentation, I have tried all three to kind of show you what I like and what I don't like. So the point of this is you want to have good highlights, light values, and good darks and shadows on your face. Because if you don't have that, then it's going to be really, really hard to make those values pop out. All right, so let's see some of my examples. All right, so here's an example of not a good photo. Okay, so also when I would take my photo in my camera, then I would also then put it into grayscale or classic or whatever feature on your phone or filter on your phone that you have. And when you do, you're going to want to put it into a grayscale so that you can, sometimes then you can see the values a little bit better, okay? Because we are doing this in black and white, so you'll probably use your black and white image. So as you can see, I just took this in my classroom. There's no light on me. The lights were actually off. And so it's really, really bad lighting. There's no values on my face, so that means it's flat, okay? So when I come over here to like my black and white photo, there's a little bit of value, but it's like super light, like barely anything. Like it would be just like a really light gray. And then there's a little bit of highlight, but not really. So this would be really, really boring to draw because it's like barely gray and there wouldn't be enough contrast. So not great lighting. So now then I switched it and I put too much light on my face. So then I had the lamp completely shining on my face, too bright, still flat looking. Yeah, there's a little bit of value, but again, not much better. It's still like really light gray. So again, it would be really hard to make the forms and your nose and your mouth and your eyes pop off the page with those dark and bright values. So again, you don't want to have a light just shining right in front of your face. We'll talk about how you want the light in a little bit. And then I went outside. It was kind of cloudy, and I kind of did that on purpose. So there wasn't very good lighting. It was cloudy, so then my face again looks flat. There's a little bit more value here in my cheeks because I was smiling really big. But again, it's just too white and bright up here. Not much happening again. It's just flat. So now let's look at what you want to do. All right. So now I'm back in my classroom and I was standing by my office and the light is on in my office and then the rest of my classroom was dark. So this is pretty decent. I have good highlights on my left and it's a little bit darker on my right. And I'm looking straight forward, which you can do. I'm smiling. And then also what I should have said from the beginning is I was really, really close to my camera of my phone. See how my face fills the whole image. That's what you really, really want to do because at first you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm just too close to my camera, but that's what you want because then you'll really be able to see the detail of your eyes and your lips and your nose and your face. If it's like at arm's length away from you, it'll just be too far away and it just won't be acceptable. And then when it's time to measure, it's so much easier to measure your face when the picture is really nice and big. Your face is really big on the piece of paper, and it'll be a lot easier. So here's a good example, a decent example of good, decent lighting that would be somewhat acceptable. And again, I put it in grayscale, and you can kind of see some of the darker values and the darker grays. And then I went back outside, and this time the sun was out, so I kind of turned my face a little bit towards the sun, but then I made sure that it wasn't completely towards the sun, because if it was completely towards the sun, then it would be like that photo of me with the lamp. So I had my face turned just a little bit to where then this side of my face had a little bit of shadows or darker values on it, okay? So see how this is okay, but then once you put it in grayscale, you'll actually really see those values and how they pop. This is a little bright, a little white, but that's okay. You do need some bright highlights, and there's some good dark values there. So this one's pretty decent. That's why I put a little smiley face by it. And then I'm kind of looking up at the sun, so that's kind of fun. Maybe you want to do like a funny face, a mad face, silly face, happy, or you can just be smiling. That's fine too. All right, and then I came back inside, and this time I used light from the lamp, and I had the lamp positioned off to my side, and I turned my head a little bit. So here is where my light source is coming from, my light, and then as it's passing over, my head was turned just a little bit to where it's now created this nice shadow and this nice value on this left side. So this is also a nice photo because I put another smiley face, has a good light, and then I can still see a little bit of my cheek over here. My chin starts here, and then it gets darker on this left side because there wasn't much light hitting on it. And again, it's close to the camera, so I can see a lot of detail. So that's another good one. And then again, I moved over to my office door, and again, I also put a smiley face on this one. I like this one too. Again, I'm kind of looking away. My face is turned a little bit. You know, you can definitely see where my light source is, but you can still see there's value around the eye. And again, you know, depending on, see, my values aren't like super dark, you know, and we'll talk about this when it's time to like actually add values with the charcoal, how sometimes you're going to have to exaggerate and make things darker than they are. Because yeah, some of these are going to turn out still kind of like a light gray or medium gray. So we want to push our values and make contrast and make things darker than they would already be, but we'll talk about that in the next video. So here's another good example of lighting. All right, here's not a very good one, another not great one. So here I am sitting at my desk and I'm using the lamp. So it's not too great because I didn't even put it in grayscale, because the way my face is turned is like, here's my light source, but then over here, yeah, it's really dark, but it will be almost too dark. It's kind of like this whole side of my face is just like super dark, and you still want to be able to see that other eye over there. Like, see how I still see it over here? There's some light, there's some dark, but if I were to have put this in grayscale or whatnot, it probably would have been a little bit too dark. So you definitely do want to pay attention to the angle of your face, the angle of the light, how you're looking, how you're not looking. And you're probably going to have to take several pictures, several options. And what you'll do is you'll submit them into, there'll be a folder called Charcoal Portrait this time. And there'll be like another assignment that'll probably be labeled like your photo of yourself or something like that. And so I'll have to okay your photo before you move on to the next step. So there may be a little bit of back and forth between me and you until you get the right photo taken. And hopefully this helps the how to take a good photograph of yourself, and you can accomplish this and then move on to the next step. All right.